Is pizza a go-to meal for you and your family? If so, you really want to learn how to make a quick and delicious pizza dough in your trusty bread machine. It's so quick, it's so easy, it's so cheap. There's no reason not to make pizza at home. Starting with the liquid ingredients, you're going to want lukewarm water. This is 3/4 of a cup of lukewarm water. And 1 tablespoon of olive oil. A nice, delicious olive oil is going to add to the flavor. Then add 1 tablespoon of sugar. It's going to make your dough have a little bit of sweetness. 1/2 teaspoon of salt. And perhaps what might be new to you is 1 tablespoon of dry milk, which will make it easier for you to handle the dough and will help the dough brown when you're cooking it. Then add 2½ cups of bread flour. Bread flour has a higher gluten content, makes it nice and stretchy. Loosen up your dough, measure it out appropriately, 2 1/4 cups. And you want to do this in the order that I'm describing. Then you're adding your bread machine yeast, and that's 3/4 of a teaspoon, and sprinkle that over the top. Now this is going to make 1 large, a 12-inch thick crust pizza, or 2 smaller thin crust pizzas, or you can divide it up even into smaller pieces if you're doing a make your own pizza for 4, let's say. If you want to have more pizza dough, you can double this recipe. Now that's all there is to it. I've added the ingredients. I'm going to close up the bread machine, plug it in. Okay, the beep, it's ready to go. I'm going to choose the cycle for dough and hit start. And in 1.5 hours, my dough will be ready. While the bread machine's doing its work, let's talk for a minute about some tips on successful pizza dough making. I think you'll be really happy with your pizza dough if you follow this recipe and use your bread machine. It just makes it so easy. You can start it early in the day and you'll have it ready for later in the day. Or my second tip is make sure that you make your pizza dough in advance. I like to make my pizza dough 3 to 5 days in advance of when I want to make the pizza. Why, you ask? Well, I find that as the pizza dough sits in my refrigerator, the flavor of the dough improves. I love it. It has an extra depth and richness if I've waited 3 to 5 days before I use it, maybe even 7 days. And then finally, one of the things that I like to do is to store my pizza in a container that is the shape of the pizza that I'm going to be making. So if you're going to make a round pizza, store your pizza dough in a round bowl. If it's going to be a square pizza, then put it in a rectangular baking dish and let it sit there for the 3 to 5 days before you're going to use it. You'll find it's much easier to press the pizza shape if you've already stored it in a container that's the shape that you want your pizza to be. The dough has finished its mixing phase in the bread machine, and now it's in its rising phase. There's really nothing to do while the dough rises. Maybe think about what are the toppings you're going to put on your dough. This makes this recipe so easy, so wonderful, so perfect for at-home make-aheads. And after 1.5 hours in the bread machine, you can see that the dough has more than doubled in size. Now that the bread machine has done its work, I'm ready to prepare my dough for the refrigerator. I'm going to be putting my dough away till the weekend. And so here's how I make that happen. First off, pour a little bit of olive oil in each of the bowls. I'm using round bowls. I'm going to be making round pizzas. And I like to get olive oil all on my hands. Makes it easier to handle the dough. I'm going to remove the dough. And the paddle. I think you can see that it's a soft and pliable dough that I'm going to cut in approximately half, just using a knife. Cuts very easily. Then I just put it into the bowls, turning it over. Cover it with saran wrap and put it in the refrigerator until I'm ready to use it. Easy peasy dough for pizzas in your bread machine.